Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Arsenal Watch. We're back again with the latest Arsenal FC news. From today, the Mirror reported that Arteta has lived up to his four promises as the Arsenal blueprint finally came together. When Arteta took up the reins at Arsenal, he made a promise. He vowed to change the underachieving ethos that had swept through the club in recent times and return the Gunners to their glory days of yesteryear, and he was dead set on doing it his way, a way which would fundamentally be grounded in respect, a way which would see those creating negativity expelled from the club, and a way in which, if followed, would provide a pathway to success. With the North Londoners having enjoyed a remarkable recent resurgence and now finding themselves on the cusp of a top four Premier League finish and a subsequent return to Champions League football, Arteta's promises are finally being fulfilled. Looking back over the Spaniards' very first press conference, way back when in December 2019, makes for fascinating viewing. Despite his only managerial experience of any sort, consisting of playing as an understudy to one of football's greatest gurus in Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, Arteta displayed an unwavering sense of belief. His confidence in himself and his philosophy was clear for all to see, and Arsenal's transformation over the past few seasons, this one in particular, highlights how he's kept his word. Arteta has done everything he said he would, with the boss making four promises: keeping his ideas to himself, convincing the players of his philosophy, making sure his squad respects each other, and selling any problem players. Arteta said, I have my ideas that I would like to keep to myself because I have to corroborate them when I see them act, when I see them behave, when I see them live together. He declared in his inaugural Arsenal press conference, I want to do things my way, but by convincing them that it's the right way for everybody to live together. Everybody has to respect each other first of all, and I want people who are accountable for what I'm asking for them to do. I don't want them hiding. I want people to take responsibility for their jobs, and I want people who deliver passion and energy in the Arsenal Football Club. While many were shocked at Arteta's assertive handling of the Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang affair over the last few months, it really didn't have come as much of a surprise. Amongst his first words as Arsenal manager, Arteta said, anyone who doesn't buy into this or that has a negative effect or whatever is not good enough for this environment or this culture. Despite clashing with Arsenal's talisman and poster boy head-on, the Spaniard has proven himself to be a man of his word, swiftly axing Aubameyang, who clearly compromised the Arteta way. He continued, there are things to change, absolutely, but they're not performing at the level we expect them to. I will have to help them, and to help them, I need to know what's happening. I need to understand how they're feeling, what they're lacking. If I get to reach that point, then I can help them. Then they will trust me, and then they will follow me. Arteta has trimmed his squad in the last two windows and evidently earned the trust that he spoke of with his current batch of players. Now the Gunners are reaping the rewards. These days, Arsenal have finally fostered an identity, and while that identity hasn't been supplemented with too much silverware just yet, under Arteta, the Gunners are certainly heading in the right direction. A promise is a promise. In more news, Alexander Lacazette has pointed Mikel Arteta into the direction of the perfect striker Arsenal should sign in the summer transfer window ahead of next season. The Frenchman has only scored three Premier League goals this season, but his all-round play has had a major benefit on the team. Despite his lack of goals, the players around him have been a reliable source to find the net, meaning Arteta's next striker should not be signed purely on the number of goals he scores. This is why Joao Felix, the Portuguese star playing at Atletico Madrid, would be an excellent option for Arsenal, and the Portuguese international is reportedly available for a transfer. Lacazette recorded two assists against Watford on Sunday, afternoon as Arsenal came out 2-0 winners with saw the club climb into the Champions League positions ahead of next season. Gabriel Martinelli, Martin Odegaard, and Bukayo Saka were the three players who were positioned behind Lacazette, and they all got on the score sheet. A big reason for this is due to the unselfishness of Lacazette and his commitment to the side, despite the lack of killer instinct in front of goal. His ability to bring other players into the game has made up for the lack of goals he scores, as Arsenal have different sources of goals from different areas, but due to the Frenchman's link up play, other players around him have been able to score as well. Felix, who also isn't solely known for his goals, would be able to offer the same as Lacazette but on a much better level due to the quality he possesses. The forward was highly touted by Europe's biggest clubs after his amazing Europa League run with Benfica during the 2018-19 season. It was Atletico Madrid who signed him later in that summer for a blockbuster 114 million transfer, as the youngster was tipped to become one of the world's best players. However, since joining the La Liga side, his growth has taken a hit due to a clash in the style of play between him and Diego Simeone, which has not been helped by the delay in injuries. Despite the differences between the player and the manager, Felix has still displayed glimpses of the quality he can bring when he's when he is given the freedom to express himself. Manchester City have been previously interested in signing the Portuguese international, but Lacazette's impact on the Arsenal side is highlighting why Arteta should pursue a deal for Felix to enhance the Gunners' attack. It only seemed like yesterday that Arsenal were going through their most expensive transfer window to date, splashing 150 million on six new players in the summer of last year. Fast forward a few months, and steps are now being put in place to undergo another busy, potentially pricey window. It is being understood by a number of sources that Mikel Arteta and technical director Edu are planning a significant outlay in the summer, backed by owner Stan Kroenke. Two forwards, a central midfielder, and backup right back are believed to be on the shopping list. With the latest in mind, there are four players that would represent major upgrades to the current squad. The first one being Darwin Núñez, age 22 from Benfica, who is valued at 28.8 million euros. Currently in the top 15 for the European Golden Boot, Núñez continues to attract interest from a host of top clubs. West Ham reportedly made a bid for the Uruguayan in January, which ultimately fell short of Benfica's valuation. Standing standing at 6 feet 2 inch, Núñez has scored 25 goals across 31 appearances so far this season while operating as a centre forward, second striker, and left winger. A strong dribbler, clinical finisher, and possessing a dangerous turn of pace, the 22-year-old is only going to get better, and Arsenal should look to secure his services before it's too late. Agent Tavares should get to work. Armando Broja, age 20, who is at Chelsea, is valued at 8.1 million euros. Before he joined Southampton alone this season, Chelsea fans were raving about Broha for a while, and now we are seeing why. He has been a standout for the Saints, scoring 8 goals in 25 appearances and proving to be a real handful for the opposition defenders. Slightly taller than Nunes at 6 feet 3 inch, Broha also possesses explosive pace and is a threat on the ball. The Albanian international is showing why he has what it takes to succeed at Premier League level and would be a perfect rotational option to have in the side. News of Roman Abramovich being sanctioned by the UK government puts Arsenal in a commanding position to capitalize on on their London rivals who will need to make some big sacrifices in the immediate future to keep the club running. Fabian Ruiz is the fourth option, who is age 25 from Napoli, valued at almost 50 million euros. Establishing himself as a calm and composed left-footed central midfielder, Ruiz has all of the attributes to upgrade the middle of the park and take over from Granit Xhaka. The Mirror has reported that Arsenal are running provisional checks on the Spanish international, and club representatives are understood to have met with the player's agents to understand his demands. Luis's tactical versatility enables him to showcase both attacking and defensive qualities, which would complement Thomas Partey nicely. A keen long shot taker and strong passer, the deep lying playmaker has 6 goals, 4 assists in 29 appearances this season. Nassar Mazraoui from Ajax is age 24 and is available on a free transfer. Despite the likelihood of Arsenal's next right back addition initially being viewed as a backup to Takehiro Tomiyasu, Arteta will want someone who can push to become the first choice. Considering Tomiyasu's injury troubles and Tavares' success at the beginning of the campaign, Mazzauri would certainly get opportunities. Becoming a key member of Eric Ten Hag's successful Ajax setup, the Moroccan international likes to make a forward run and direct runs before delivering a dangerous cross or diving into the box to get onto the score sheet. This has led him to rack up 5 goals and 4 assists so far this season, remaining defensively solid in the process. Mazzauri is set to leave for free once his contract expires in the summer, with Barcelona reportedly showing strong interest. In more news, it was reported that Arsenal's coaching staff believes that the 22-year-old is a better fit than the 45 million man in the key Arteta role. According to The Athletic, the coaching staff at Arsenal believe that Albert Sambi Lokonga is a better fit than Thomas Partey for the number 6 role. Well, the 45 million man is currently occupying the number 6 role where he has two number 8s ahead of him in Martin Odegaard and Emil Smith Rowe. However, the Ghana international may not hold that position down in the long term as the Arsenal coach believes Lokonga is better in that area. The 22-year-old hasn't played in the Premier League since the nil draw against Burnley on January 23rd. Mikel Arteta has left the Belgium international on the bench despite playing the youngster on a regular basis at the start of the season. So far, Lokonga has made 14 Premier League appearances. His lack of action in recent weeks makes the suggestion that he is a better number 6 than Partey all the more baffling. The number 6 role in Arteta's system is vital, so it speaks volumes that the coaches at London Colney view Lukonga as the player best suited to it. Whoever is deployed in that area must ensure that they protect the backline, but they must also be an incisive passer of the ball who can break the lines and start attacks. It is very difficult to play that position under Arteta, and if the Gunners believe Lukonga is better at it than Partey, then what does the future hold for the 28-year-old? Partey isn't exactly a nippy number 8 like Odegaard or Smith Rowe, so we're not quite sure where else he would fit. In our view, Arsenal will continue to develop Lokonga behind the scenes, like Arteta did with Gabriel Martinelli, despite a lack of game time before he slots in as Partey's long-term successor. It is also believed that Arteta has made 3 changes to elevate Arsenal into top 4 material ahead of the new phase this summer. The expectation of Arsenal at the beginning of the season was to show significant progress from the two disappointing 8th place finishes under Arteta. Granted, the first season was a rescue job after Unai Emery had dropped Arsenal into the bottom half of the table. However, there remained several doubts about whether the current Spanish manager could bring the Gunners back to the right path. This season has, however, exceeded most fans' expectations, and the club sit as firm favourites to achieve a top 4 finish for the first time since Arsene Wenger was at the club. Champions League nights have been sorely missed by supporters and the club's financial reports. Mikel Arteta has changed a lot since his appointment, but this season there have been 3 key changes in the squad that have contributed to his turn of form and progression towards the top 4, in particular since the turn of the year. Firstly is the switch of the formation from 4-2-3-1 to 4-3-3. Arteta spoke in December of 2020 about how the side was lacking several players to play the desired way. We want to move to a 4-3-3, but for that you need a lot of specificity in every position. But now, in 5 or 6 positions, we don't have it, he said. The aggressiveness, the effectiveness, the amount of steals we make in opposition half, I think, have been very steady against some big clubs. I think that is the what we miss is in the opponent's area and the last part of the pitch. We have to find the key in the attack, the last decision, the last pass, the last cross to create a goal situation, a goal, a shot, a corner, etc. However, after Arteta signed 6 players in the summer of 2021, the change has finally arrived with Thomas Partey playing as a 6, Granit Xhaka operating as a 6-8 hybrid at left center midfield, and Martin Odegaard playing the 8-10 role at central midfield on the right side. It has correlated to four back-to-back. It has correlated to four back-to-back victories and looks the way forward for the team. Secondly, is the continual overhaul of the squad, which has recently seen former club captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang leave. Prior to his departure, Arsenal scored 18 goals in the 14 Premier League games the Gabon striker featured in. Since he has left, the 10 subsequent league games have amassed 23 goals. Arsenal have been more potent, and the role filled by Lacazette has enhanced performances of Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard in particular. The issues behind the scenes were frequent, and in his absence, the Arsenal squad has continued onwards, focused on the task at hand without distraction. Arteta has made ensuring full commitment from his players is one of the non-negotiables instilled in them. Lastly is the faith put in the likes of Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey. The pair have had their critics, however, both returning to the team have seen a serious upturn in form for the side. In the last 11 league games they have played together, Arsenal have won 9. With the future of Xhaka remaining uncertain, um, it is understood that Roma are expected to return with a bid in the summer. Arteta may have a challenge to ensure he secures the correct replacement. What is for sure is that Arsenal should qualify for the Champions League. Ahead of what felt many was the expectation, the next stages of the plan are exciting to consider what they might be. In more Arsenal news, Takehiro Tomiyasu's injury update as Arteta receives a huge boost ahead of the Leicester City clash. Arsenal have been boosted with the news that Lacazette is available for Sunday's Premier League tie with Leicester City. The Frenchman has been in superb form for Arteta's side as of late, with his link of play and leadership qualities becoming crucial to Arsenal's chase for a European spot. Lacazette shared a photo on social media of his ankle after Wednesday's training session, which he captioned with a tongue-in-cheek reference to Arsenal's Player of the Month for February, Thomas Partey. The ex-Leon man captioned the photo, Player of the Month, Killer of the Day, while tagging Partey. However, it is understood that Lacazette is only sporting a bruised ankle and is expected to be involved in the weekend's league encounter against the Foxes. His position is vitally important to everything we do. Just look at the 2 assists he got against Watford, said Arsenal legend Ian Wright on Wrighty's House podcast. Unless we get that person, you think to yourself, maybe we could give Lacazette another year or two. I think he has got to stay around. You can see with his little backflip, his little assist. Meanwhile, Emil Smith Rowe has returned to individual training after recovering from COVID. The midfielder has 9 Premier League goals to his name, and this season will be hopeful of at least being in contention to be named in the squad on Sunday. Tomiyasu, who has struggled with calf injuries over the past couple of months, has yet to return to first team training. The Japanese international is in the process of completing his recovery, but still not deemed ready to be involved in training. Cedric Suarez looks set to continue at right back following several accomplished performances in defense. Yes, it was the other calf Arteta confirmed, so he came back and he was completely fine. And in training, he felt the other calf. This is an issue because he's a professional who is giving absolutely everything to help us, and in the last few months, he's not been fit. In more Arsenal news, Arsenal target Dusan Vlahovic left Fiorentina in January to Serie A joins Juventus and has gone on to score 5 goals in 8 games. Juventus striker Dusan Vlahovic has been told he made the wrong choice in January and should have joined Arsenal. Vlahovic left Fiorentina in the January transfer window and opted to stay in the division despite attracting interest from a number of clubs across Europe and most notably in the Premier League. Joining Juventus for 73 million euros, the Serbian star scored on his debut in a 2-0 win but then went on a 3-game goal drought before finding the back of the net in the UEFA Champions League match this weekend. This was followed up by a brace in the Old Ladies' next game in a 3-2 win in Syria. But since that game, the 22-year-old has once again gone 2 games without a goal. And Italian journalist Paolo believes manager Allegri's non-entertaining brand of football is suffocating Vlahovic. It remains to be seen whether he will win trophies with Juventus. I will continue to be critical of Allegri. If football is to bring back the new generations, it must entertain the public. If I had been Vlahovic, I would have gone to the Premier League. In the summer, he could have gone to the best teams. Arsenal wanted him. Maybe he is happy at Juventus. Yesterday, however, there was an isolated in Vlahovic in the Spezia box, while the other 10 were purged in Chesney's area. Juventus continue to play badly, and it's a fact. Arsenal currently find themselves in fourth position in the Premier League and have 3 games in hand over fifth place Manchester United. But their striker options next season remain in flux with Edin Nketiah and Alexander Lacazette's contracts expiring at the end of the season. In more news, the Gunners are off the back of their 3-2 win over Watford yesterday, with the victory sending Arteta's men up to fourth in the league with games in hand over those around them. Goals from Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli summed up a great attacking display, while conceding to Hernandez and Sissoko made the game more frantic than it needed to be for the visitors. Spurs have since responded to the challenge with their 5-0 statement win against Frank Lampard's Everton. Arteta's side will now switch the focus to Leicester City next Sunday, with yet another opportunity to edge closer to a fourth place finish this season. Elsewhere, the Gunners continue to be linked with a number of players, with a busy summer transfer window predicted as Arteta and Edu gear the squad up for another challenge. With all that in mind, make sure to now let's talk about Saliba's contract. Arsenal will review William Saliba's situation at the end of the season with preliminary talks over a new contract expected to take place. According to sources, Juventus are interested in bringing in an experienced striker to battle with January signing Dusan Vlahovic. And it seems that Alexander Lacazette has caught their eye. Eli Adair thinks Lacazette should stay. As his contract expires in June, the club are yet to decide on whether they should try to extend the 30-year-old's deal beyond this current season. This piece of news will be exciting for Arsenal fans as the Premier League has announced that ahead of the clash between Arsenal and Leicester at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday, the Premier League have announced and they've re- revealed the officiating appointments for this weekend's round of fixtures, and the Arsenal fans will be pleased with the outcome. The Premier League have decided that Anthony Taylor will oversee the clash between Arsenal and Leicester on Sunday. That bodes well for the Gunners, as they've usually had plenty of success when the 43-year-old has officiated their matches. Anthony Taylor has overseen 40 Arsenal games during his career, and the North Londoners have only lost 6 of those. Arsenal have won 23 of those outings, while Taylor has also awarded them 6 penalties in that time frame. Interestingly, he is also something of a good luck charm for the Gunners, as he was in charge of both the FA Cup final wins over Chelsea in 2017 and 2020. Mikel Arteta has put Arsenal in a fantastic position to qualify for the Champions League with 13 games remaining. The Gunners are currently sat in fourth place on 48 points, one ahead of Manchester United, albeit with 3 games in hand over the Red Devils. In our view, it is imperative that Arsenal win these 3 games, as Tottenham and West Ham are also lurking behind Manchester United with games in hand of their own. Things have been going very well for the Gunners recently, but after working so hard to get to this position, there can be no room for complacency. Moreover, in Sunday's clash against Leicester City, Arsenal will get a closer look at a possible summer transfer target. Arsenal will continue in their quest to secure a Champions League spot this weekend when the Gunners are scheduled to face Leicester City in what promises to be a tricky contest. Brendan Rodgers has a talented squad at his disposal, but this summer one of his star players could end up making a switch to the Emirates. Yuri Tielemans will face Arteta's men this weekend, but next season he could form part of his team if transfer reports are to be believed. The Belgium international has a contract which is due to expire in 2023, which means Leicester will have to make a decision at the end of the current campaign. This could mean that they could keep him for another year but lose him or free, or they could sell him for a reasonable price considering he seems unlikely to sign a new deal at King Power. Tielemans could be on the market in the coming months, and based on Arteta's squad requirements, Arsenal should be interested in picking up his services. Still, just 24 years old, the Foxes midfielder has been playing top flight football on a regular basis since the age of 16. Since his emergence at Anderlecht, he's acquired a wealth of experience despite his youthful age. During his time in England, Tielemans has evolved into one of the division's most established performers. It is reasonable to suggest that he is the player who has improved most under Rodgers rather than Harvey Barnes or James Maddison, who has been tipped for a move to the Emirates in the past. Tielemans is skillful, composed, and progressive when in possession, and he's comfortable when receiving the ball under pressure in tight spaces unlike Granit Xhaka. In recent months, Xhaka has been instructed to occupy higher spaces in the final third, ahead of Thomas Partey, who has remained further back to hold the fort for the team, as shown below. The Swiss has performed reasonably well, but he hasn't been at ease. He is more natural when the play is ahead of him, and when able to feed teammates who are higher up. With Xhaka now aged 29, Tielemans could be his long-term heir, and he seems more suited to fulfilling Arteta's new hybrid midfield role. This weekend, the Leicester man will have an opportunity to impress one of his potential future suitors. Arteta will hope for an Arsenal win, but he'll be keeping a close eye on whether Tielemans is capable enough to assume the spotlight. Latest Arsenal news takes a closer look at what the potential return on Serge Gnabry in the transfer summer window will mean for the Gunners in next season. Serge Gnabry is being linked with a return to Arsenal. Almost 6 years ago, following an ill-fated loan spell at West Brom under Tony Pulis, allied with limited first-team opportunities at the Emirates Stadium, doubts were in the Germans' mind that a long-term role in the first team would become a reality if he stayed. As such, Gnabry, with a year remaining on his contract, left Arsenal with no choice other than to sell him to Werder Bremen for around 5 billion euros, and it's a decision that has regularly come back to haunt the Gunners. The winger is now regular for Bayern Munich as well as the Germany national team, and his trophy haul includes one Champions League, three Bundesliga titles, and a FIFA Club World Club. However, the 26-year-old could be on the move when the summer transfer window opens. Amid reports that there has been no agreement to extend his contract at the Allianz Arena, it has been suggested that Arsenal could be one of the clubs who would be willing to make a move to re-sign their former player. Serge Gnabry's deal expires in 2023. Bayern could find themselves in an identical position to the Gunners by needing to cash in on the winger as he enters the final 12 months of his contract in order to avoid the risk of losing him for free. Now, it remains to be seen if a return to North London for the Germany international is a possibility. But the fact that Arteta and Edu are targeting two forwards this summer, along with a central midfielder and a right back to provide cover for Tomiyasu, makes things rather interesting. Capable of operating on either flank or down the middle, Gnabry's versatility means he can be the perfect wide forward option, which then allows the aforementioned Gunners pair to focus on signing a natural centre forward amid links to Alexander Isaac and Lautaro Martinez. Reaching double figures for goals in every season since returning to Germany is one incentive for Arteta and Edu to pursue a deal for Gnabry if Bayern are willing to sell this summer. Another incentive is a double squad registration boost for Gnabry, which will hand Arsenal, especially if they're in the Champions League or any European competition next season. Interestingly, the Gunners had problems in this area last season due to the size of their squad. Firstly, Arteta was forced to exclude Ozil and Socrates from his Premier League and Europa League squads for the 2021 campaign, and then Martin Odegaard, who arrived on loan from Real Madrid in January 2021, was only able to take the remaining non-homegrown spot in the Premier League after Shkodran Mustafi had joined Schalke. Depending on what businesses Arsenal plan to get done this summer, signing Gnabry can help them with any attempts to bring in the likes of Yuri Tielemans, Isaac Martinez, or Jonathan David, for example. This is because when Gunners are asked to name their 25-man Premier League squad after the summer transfer window closes, usually at the beginning of September, no more than 17 overseas players can be included with the remaining 8 players available to homegrown members of the squad. To be considered homegrown, players need to have been registered with any club affiliated to the Football Association or the Welsh FA for a period, continuous or not, of 3 entire seasons or 36 months before his 21st birthday or the end of the season during which he turns 21. As Gnabry fits the criteria, having joined Arsenal as a 16-year-old in 2011 and spending more than 3 years at the club, should he return, he can take up a homegrown place alongside Aaron Ramsdale, Ben White, Rob Holding, and Emil Smithrow as things stand. Furthermore, if Hector Bellerin, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles all leave this summer, Gnabry can help boost the Gunners' number of homegrown players and ensure no registration problems arise regarding any potential non-homegrown signings. There are a little different methods to do things in European countries, as UEFA rules state. No club can have more than 25 players on List A during the season of at least two must be goalkeepers. As a minimum, 8 of those 25 places are reserved exclusively for locally trained players. If a club has fewer than 8 locally trained players in their squad, then the maximum number of players on list day is reduced accordingly. Club trained players are players who were on a club's books for 3 years between the ages of 15 and 21. Association trained players are players who are on the club's books in the same association for 3 years between the ages of 15 and 21. No club can have more than 4 association trained players among their 8 local nominees on list A. The last time Arsenal were in Europe, the Europa League last season, several non-homegrown players failed to make the cut for both the group phase and knockout rounds. A repeat may have been on the cards this season, especially after the January transfer window with Nketiah, the only remaining club-trained player having been on the club's books for 3 years between the ages of 15 and 21. Meanwhile, going off the updated Premier League squad, Ramsdale, White, Holding, and Jonathan Lindsay would have been the 4 association-trained players named, having been another English club's books for 3 years between the ages of 15 and 21. As a result, with the Arsenal team only able to name 5 locally trained players, they would have had to cut 3 first team stars and register a 20-man squad. Although after letting Maitland Niles, Callum Chambers, Aubameyang, Mari, and Kolasinac leave in January, the Gunners would have been just fine. But as Gnabry is cast as a club-trained player, if he was to return to Arsenal, his registration would open up at least one extra space for a non-homegrown player and allow Arteta to name a bigger squad. More on the Serge Gnabry story, Arsenal have become defined by the recent history of poor decision making in the transfer window from Arsene Wenger's time through to the early stages of Mikel Arteta's tenure. The Gunners let go of important talent due to an inability to guarantee a clear pathway to regular first team football. Looking back, it's easy to say with regret that the club has made errors in judgment and have seen so many go on to flourish elsewhere. Daniel Mellon, Ismail Benasser, Yunus Musa, and most famously Serge Gnabry have left for bigger and better things and became crucial components of the setups at Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, Valencia, and Bayern Munich, respectively. Gnabry caught up with the presenter and Arsenal fan and told him how much he and Arsenal were missing his talents since he has developed into a world-class swinger and Champions League winner with Bayern. Always a gooner though, always a gooner, said Gnabry. Later in the interview, Gnabry said, "It was the hardest decision, but in the end I think it worked out well, but as a club Arsenal are top." The interview takes on greater meaning 2.5 years later, with the now 26-year-old is struggling to agree on a new contract with Bayern Munich. Sky Sports claim that the chances are of renewing are 50-50. His current deal expires in 2023, meaning he will have just 1 year to run when this season comes to an end. Bayern could well be tempted to cash in on the winger as well, with talented youngster Jamal Musiala coming through in addition to Leroy Sane and Kingsley Coman already at the club. Gnabry is valued at 63 million euros according to trusted football site, and it is understood that Arsenal are preparing for a significant summer outlay backed by owner Stan Kroenke. The Gunners could be in a position to tempt the German champions into a sale if they are successful in securing the Champions League stage Gnabry deserved to play on. With Gnabry's affiliation and underlying association with Arsenal, a move may not be all that unlikely. Gnabry has won everything possible with Bayern Munich, and there is clearly some unfinished business in North London. Mikel Arteta is building a youthful but exciting team to watch, and Gnabry's versatility to play in any of the front three positions would give the Spaniard plenty to think about. The idea of Gnabry and Bukayo Saka playing together in the same team is tantalizing, but the future of Nicolas Pepe would surely be affected by any possible deal. With Pepe amongst the first team options, there are four current positions in the wide positions, and Gnabry could be reluctant to join, faced with the possibility of yet another battle for regular minutes. Both Lyon and Marseille inquired about Pepe in the January transfer window, and if he did move on, it would open the door to a move for an Arsenal player everyone knows well. A wide forward could offer some flexibility to the two attacking players Arsenal are expected to target this summer, and Gnabry would certainly fit the bill. In more Arsenal news, former Tottenham and Manchester United striker Teddy Sheringham has chosen Arsenal as his personal pick for a Premier League top four finish after the Englishman was taken aback with how good Mikel Arteta's side were in the most recent Watford win. The Gunners continued their winning momentum in Hertfordshire with their enthralling 3-2 victory against Roy Hodgson's Hornets side. Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and Gabriel Martinelli in particular stood out for the North Londoners, who were boosted after their clash came to an end with how Manchester City helped them out in the top four race. Pep Guardiola's side trounced Manchester United in the derby clash at the Etihad as the citizens hit the Red Devils for four. That result leaves the Gunners 1 point ahead of Ralph Ragnick's side in the current standings with three games in hand on their Premier League rivals. The clash at the Emirates Stadium between the two sides in April could prove pivotal in determining who finishes in that last Champions League position. A current outsider in the race for the top four, alongside the likes of West Ham and Wolves, is Antonio Conte's inconsistent Spurs side, who, despite picking up 3 points at the Etihad Stadium a few weeks ago, have struggled to go on a winning run in all competitions as demonstrated by the Lily Whites' recent losses against Burnley and Middlesbrough in the Premier League and FA Cup respectively. But reflecting on the current top four landscape after Talksport's Laura Woods had stated that it was a real possibility for the North London club to overachieve between now and the end of the season, Sheringham has also jumped on the Arsenal bandwagon. I hate to say it, but it looks that Arsenal are looking very, very good, the former Manchester United and Spurs forward told Lord Ping. They're coming into form at the right moment. I know they were playing against one of the bottom teams in the division, but the way they controlled the ball, took the game to Watford yesterday, they scored three and could have had more. They were very, very impressive. So if you asked me now to chuck some money on a team finishing fourth, Arsenal would be my pick. I see the Arsenal players are all rolling in the same manner at the moment, whereas there's friction at Manchester United. West Ham have got a tough end to their season, and Tottenham are not combining on a regular occurrence. So it would be tough for all those teams to finish fourth. Arteta, unlike Sheringham and Woods, didn't want to quick jump to conclusions just yet with how he reflected on the race for that golden Champions League ticket. To be fair, I don't like to look at the table a lot because we have games in hand. We're going to play different fixtures, and I know the objective, and it's only one to try and improve on what we've done today and go into the next match, and that's it. The Spaniard said in his post match press conference on Sunday. I cannot control results, and I cannot predict which matches we are going to win, draw or lose. It's impossible. If I start to do that, I think we're going to lose focus in what we want to do. Thank you for watching today's video. For more Arsenal news, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.